Hi, everybody. It's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. This is your next 2 weeks of April. So we'll say April 15th through April 30th readings. Okay, so everyone for this week got the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is indicative of the energy that we're in right now, which is Sun in Aries. Okay, and then this also gives the energy of Mercury being in Aries, just because it has that three of that number three, right? So it kind of reminds me of the energy that we're in right now. So we're really coming up with original ideas. We're also coming up with ways to achieve things and different ways to, access the things that are around us that are to our immediate accessibility. Okay? We are looking at the windows of opportunity. We are also trying to think of all of the multiple ways that we can do things, the many different ways that we can try to get maybe the same thing done, or we might even be trying to get multiple things done all at one time. It does also talk a little bit about selfishness and the ego, right? And what the power of the ego means, okay? And what it can the multiplicitous ways to carry out, what the ego sort of desires. Yeah. It could be talking about selfishness in some kind of way. It's also talking about, being very strong willed in the mind. Okay? The sun is exalted in Aries. Okay? So this could be talking about a very powerful, opinionated individual and someone who is willing to prove through communication and verbalization what they plan on doing or want to do or may even need to do. Um, if it's any way afflicted here in this energy, we're going to be thinking of like, you know, wanting to kind of like do things quickly, not practice patience, maybe wanting to not wait, that type of thing. It does talk about the immediacy of things too. And when I talk about accessibility, the immediacy of how and when those things are being accessed is also very, very important. It talks about, what we might be thinking about in our minds and what might be weighing heavily on our minds, or what might just be very illuminated in our heads. The mind is Mercury. Mercury is the esoteric ruler of Aries, and Aries rules the head. Mars is actually, where is Mars right now? Mars is in Aquarius. I have to check that out, but I think that Mars is in Aquarius, which is an air sign as well. So we're talking about, maybe stubbornness in the mind as well, right? Which that is a fixed sign. Aquarius is a fixed sign. So we could be dealing with things that are kind of like definite, right? With that energy of the fixed energy combined with this Sun and Aries card right here, and that sort of like a Martian determination, right? If you will. Um, yes. So being that Mercury is in Aries right now and Mars is in Aquarius, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, we are really thinking about actions that we want to take and actions that we are driven to take based on what our needs might be, things that are brought to our attention, our immediate attention. This also talks about the process, and it also talks about things sort of growing in that process, and the growth period may be wanting to be advanced a bit too quickly. There's more information that we need to have as well. I feel like with this card before we can maybe move forward with action. And this card is also just talking about a need to realize what and know what is available to you, you know. Um, and considering what your options are, because the threes are also talking about options as well. Um, yes, I would definitely say all of those things. This is definitely an attention to oneself that we are, being inspired to kind of like, enforce, right? Attention to detail of oneself, you know, um, being very headstrong, um, you know, initiating the ideas, or the ideas inspiring us to take the initiative in some ways, definitely. Um, we just want to be careful that we don't act too quickly, and take too quick of a risk, and then, um, something happening from taking that risk that might be jeopardizing, you know, the process that we needed to allow to happen. Okay? If you'd like to book a reading with me, email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. And if you'd like to take advantage of the 2020 special, you can email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com as well. That's 20 minutes for $20.